whores in this house. There's some 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 whores in this house.
Stop. What's good, y'all? I'm back. I'm back. Biggity, 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 back, hey, back. Y'all, thank God I'm alone in this household. But y'all, welcome back to my channel, Black Girl White Coat. What's up? It's your host. It's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm flourishing. Y'all see me? Y'all see? I look happy, right? I look like I sleep. It's a lot. I don't be sleeping. I'm just kidding, y'all. It's been an amazing journey, y'all. 1 month into residency, finally a doctor. So they say, I don't know. I be signing prescriptions. I don't really know what it means or if it can actually do anything. Y'all see me swinging the bundles. These are the same bundles that have been with me for like 2.5, 3 years. Y'all see that? Y'all see how it perch? Y'all see how it perch? Anyways, y'all.
There's some whores in this house. 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 There's some whores in this house.
So yeah, guys, it's been 1 month, guys. It's been 1 month in residency, 2 months in Chicago in my new place, which I will do a home tour whenever I'm done decorating. For now, you see a lot of white space, you see a lot of wall, you see a lot of bareness. We're still in the process. But yes, y'all, so I'm 2 months into Chicago and 1 month into residency. Today, I'm going into work in about like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm starting on a new rotation because it's a new month. But I wanted to jump on here really quick because I've had a lot of questions over Instagram and Twitter about how residency's going. I've tweeted and, you know, Instagrammed a little bit about, you know, my journey, my experiences and how I'm feeling. But y'all know I'm always gonna keep it humble, open and transparent. Got that from Pastor Mike Todd. But that's really what I'm all about. And if you've been here before, then you know that my conversations are always 100% real. So if you came to this vlog, Black or White Coat, today, you know, 1 month out of residency or 1 month down in residency, and you was looking for some, you know, super encouraging, it's awesome, everybody should be a doctor kind of stuff, you should be a doctor, you go to med school, you go to professional school, you dedicate, you know, all your prime years in your 20s to studying, you probably won't always find that here. Okay, because I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I keep it realer than real. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to my girl Meg. So for my first month, I was on emergency medicine at our community site, which is kind of lower acuity, kind of the same acuity, but it's in a different part of town. It's in a suburban area north of Chicago. And the patient population is totally different, but it's a good experience. Every program, honestly, every good emergency medicine program will offer you some community hospital experience. I just so happened to start off with the first 2 blocks of my residency program. So each block is 2 weeks. So I got 2 blocks, which is 1 month. My first month of my program was at the community site, just by the luck of the draw. And honestly, I enjoyed it. I felt like it was a good ease into residency. I felt like it wasn't as hectic as it could have been if I started on trauma or if I started on, you know, our home emergency center, emergency department, or if I started in the ICU. Started at the community site, and that was a good ease into the whole experience, into residency, like I mentioned. So we're seeing patients that are older and a little more straightforward. There were some complex patients here and there, don't get me wrong, but it was more of your run-of-the-mill emergency medicine like being practiced. Wasn't as many traumas. There weren't as many crashing patients as I know I'm about to see, because I'm about to start this next block, 2 weeks, at our home emergency medicine department on the south side of Chicago. I already know what kind of patients I'm gonna see, or have a thought. It's different from what I just saw for a month. So there's some nerves there going into that transition, but I can say that coming in, completing this first month, I feel like I was eased into this specialty. I made that transition, or starting off at a community site made the transition from med student to doctor a lot easier and a lot smoother. So that's the first thing I would say. So I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram, and I've gotten some questions just throughout the first month on Twitter and my DMs and stuff like that. So I compiled a list. Some of them are repetitive, some of them I'll address in other answers. So if you don't hear your question specifically, just listen through the other answers. You'll probably get your answer anyway, okay? So question number 1 was, are you getting enough sleep? I think I am. Honestly, if I don't get enough sleep, it's my fault because I'm really trying to be in the streets. And like, you know, with everything going on, our summer, the traditional way that, you know, the transition into residency would have started, we didn't get that because of COVID and because of the pandemic and because of all the lockdowns and stuff. And then the protests and the riots were also happening here in Chicago major. So things got shut down. Things were definitely on lock for a while. Now that things are opening up a little more, of course there are restrictions. Of course you have to be masked up. Of course you have to be, you know, limited to like, I don't know if it's 10 or 20 or 15, how many ever number of people, and you can only eat outdoors. I'm still trying to be outside. I'm still trying to figure out what summertime shy, what the big deal is, because I've heard so much about it. So I've been trying to go out more and like at least explore my surrounding like neighborhood and then other neighborhoods that are adjacent to mine. I'm all about that work-life balance, and I can't come on cue myself. I cannot come on cue myself. So responsibly, I've been exploring and doing a lot of outdoor activities, to be honest, even though I'm not the biggest outdoor person. The weather here is amazing, so I do spend time outside. So if I'm not getting enough sleep, it's because I'm spending too much time outside. It's not because of work, it's not because of residency, it really is because of the decisions that I am making. Can I make better decisions? Yeah, I could. But hey, I'm young, I ain't got no summer. I'm working now, I'm in a new place, everything is new, everything is an adventure. And if you know anything about me, I love an adventure and I love everything new. So I'm trying to like explore and just, you know, see what's around me. So I haven't been sleeping enough for that reason on some nights. Some nights I stay home and I get enough sleep. Like I said, I started in the community ED, 17 shifts, 10-hour shifts in a month, and I wasn't really too mad at it. Like there was a point where I was like, oof, this, like when I had 4-day stretches, which is probably nothing to most of you guys, but when I had 4-day stretches, I was like, I am worn out, I'm tired, I can't wait for my bed, like I'm like, you know, it's either sleep or eat, and I choose sleep. So I did have some days like that, but most of the time, being that I started in such a chill, not lax, but like a chill environment to start residency in for my first block, I feel like I was well rested, or more rested than many would assume. What's one thing that surprised you about residency? Okay, I'll answer this question with the hardest thing about residency so far. So these will be the same answer. The most difficult part and the most surprising part of residency is how uncomfortable I feel not knowing things. There's so much that I don't know, and that's frustrating for me. I don't know what I expected. I don't know if I expected to get here and know it all, but I definitely expected to feel a lot better about, you know, making that transition. But the reality is I haven't seen but prior to last month, prior to my first shift, I hadn't seen a patient since 2019. After interview season, it was over for me. Med school was over. So I was chilling till I became a doctor and had my first shift in the emergency room. That transition, I kind of underestimated that. So the frustration of not knowing things that I felt like I should have known or people expected me to know was tough for me, okay? And it's not even like the medical knowledge that was the most frustrating part, not knowing, but it was like how to work the computer, where to find this and this, where to find the IV supplies, where to find the ultrasound in the department, where to find the bathroom, hello, where to, or how to order Zofran or Tylenol for my patients. Being frustrated at the end of almost every day for the first like 7 days, the first week, just frustrated. It's frustrated because I felt like I wasn't recalling like the medical knowledge as quick and as easy as I should have. I was frustrated because I feel like I wasn't gonna measure up to my peers, to be honest. Imposter syndrome hit heavy. Did I think about quitting that first week? I wouldn't say quitting, but I definitely questioned like whether I was good enough to be a resident, whether I was at the level of everybody else who was around me. I felt like attendings and nurses expected answers out of me that I should have known. To be honest, I probably should have known the answer, but I just didn't. My brain just wasn't working that fast, that quick at all. I was frustrated, I was embarrassed. Imposter syndrome was realer than it was in medical school for me. And I just felt like I was slowing everybody around me down. I was not being efficient enough for the patients. I felt like I wasn't being efficient enough for my team, which is the attending and the other resident that's on, and the nurses as well, who are trying to move patients in and out, and then also juggling multiple patients at a time. So I just felt like I just felt lousy for being slow and for being new and for being such a noob. I don't know, did y'all ever play RuneScape? I used to say noob. Such a noob. I was just so like inexperienced, and I just didn't know the answers to so many questions, and I couldn't even find the bathroom for the first like 2 days. They told me one day and I forgot it the next day, and I was like, okay, Sandra, you're just gonna have to, you know, Foley yourself or something, because this is embarrassing, sis. Get it together. But in reality, what helped me in that instant was talking to my co-residents, matter of fact, my co-interns, who were also new on their various rotations, and they were also starting new in a place, and they also had the same frustrations that I did. So for a while there, I was in my head thinking, yo, I'm the only one that's dealing with stuff like this. I'm the only one who's like, nobody else can possibly be this slow. Nobody else can possibly forget, you know, disease presentations like I did, like, cause I don't remember nothing. Unless it's a headache or a migraine, I don't really know what to do for you, you know what I'm saying? If it's nausea, I can give you Zofran. Ask me any more questions, I gotta think really hard about that. So I thought I was the only one. I thought that I was flat out, honestly, just stupid. I just thought that I was behind. Ways that I got over that, like I said, was finally opening up and talking to people that I felt close with who were experiencing the same thing, whether it be interns in my program or interns from medical school elsewhere, and knowing that they too were also frustrated. That every other intern probably feels about the same way really was comforting, I must say. The next question is, how are you doing mentally? I think that goes along with the previous question, that I struggled with frustration, imposter syndrome, and just having my confidence, my self-confidence take a hit. I struggled with that, let's say, the first week and a half. But then, like I said, as I reached out to more people and had open discussions with my co-interns, who are all amazing, by the way, that definitely like let up, and I was able to be back to my normal self and have more constructive conversations with myself, and not like destructive, negative self-talk kind of conversations. So I would say mentally right now I'm good. I'm still excited to go to work every day for the most part, except when I'm tired. I'm starting on a new block. I'm starting at our home ED this week, and I'm excited about that. Excited to be at home, and also excited to see, you know, more people, interact with more of my, you know, normal attendings, interact with more of the patient population that I came here to work with. So honestly, I'm really excited. I feel like up until this point, a lot of the experiences that I've had have just reconfirmed that the move to Chicago was a great move. And two, that emergency medicine was the right choice for me. Like, I feel at home with my coworkers. I feel at home in the emergency department. And I feel at home doing what I'm doing, as far as I know. Of course, who am I to say anything? I only been here for 1 month, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. But mentally, thanks for asking, by the way, mentally I'm doing okay. Have I had down moments? Yes, like I already mentioned, but overall I say that I'm doing okay. Next question. My friends are ridiculous. All they have are questions about my love life, which I'm sure. What's a love life? I don't know what they talk about. What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Maybe I'll address it in a different vlog, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm an adult, right? My mom watches my vlogs, so that's okay. let's discuss dating. Let's discuss dating and, you know, relationships as a resident in another vlog. How about that? Next questions. How do you balance stress of being a new resident and the whole pandemic at the same time? Girl, I will have to give credits to my co-interns and my like residency program for that. Although we weren't able to do the traditional like fun new class, new residents kind of celebrations that they usually do because of the pandemic, we have found ways to like hang out with each other in small groups, especially my co-intern class. Just hanging out in small groups and getting to know each other that way. Long before we all moved to Chicago, we all had like maybe had like 2 or 3 Zoom hangouts, happy hours, which helped, you know, ease our nerves in the transition and during our move. We had conversations with faculty and upper level residents that told us about the areas we were moving to, gave us tips and advice about moving and about things to do in Chicago while we're here. And they kind of let us know what the atmosphere was like before we walked into this. So that was definitely helpful. It's been a blessing to have co-interns that I get along with so well right off the bat in the middle of this pandemic and starting residency, because there's so much that we relate on. There's so much that we have in common right now, and we're going through the struggle together, so that makes it all easier. So yeah, I'd say it's been different, but being that this is the only kind of transition to residency that I know, I couldn't really tell you how this is different than, you know, regular transition to residency when there's not a pandemic, because I don't know what that feels like. Next question is, what is my proudest accomplishment? It's probably just like intubating a crashing patient. That's so not cool. Let me think of something else, but no, there's nothing else. That's it. You know, when you go into emergency medicine, knowing that you're going to be caring for very sick patients, knowing that you're going to be on quote-unquote front lines, knowing that you're going to be doing life-saving procedures for somebody eventually. So having successful first pass attempt on a intubation on a patient that desperately needed an intubation was very gratifying for me. The procedure went smooth. The patient actually did well. So I don't know, I think that might be my proudest accomplishment. It might be small, whatever, to other emergency medicine doctors, but as a baby doctor on week 2, I believe that was a good moment for me. So yeah. Next question, have you made it to the phase where you feel comfortable in the ED? The beautiful part about intern year is that you don't spend very much time on one rotation. Actually spending 1 month at that one place is unique to the rotations in intern year, because most of them, like I said, are 2-week blocks. So right now I'm transitioning to our home ED for 2 weeks. And I know that as soon as I get comfortable in our home ED and I feel like I know how to do this and I know how to do this and I know where this is and I can move patients a little more quickly, I'm gonna have to move to, I believe, PICU, pediatric ICU after that, where I'm gonna feel uncomfortable again. Intern year is largely about feeling uncomfortable in new spaces, pushing yourself, which just gives you areas to grow and gives you space to grow and mature and learn a whole lot more. So the comfort that I felt at our community site, I can pretty much forget about this, because I do feel uncomfortable going into this new site, but I know in about a couple days I'll feel comfortable again, but then I'll be transplanted into another rotation to another site. So it's a constant up and down for me, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a good question. Advice for Black female medical graduates. I always ask the people that I interview on my channel their one best piece of advice. So now I'm having to ask myself, what is my one best piece of advice? I don't even have one. Let's address this first. Hair. I am a big supporter of not changing who you are for medical school or for residency programs. Let's start there, okay? So if you want your hair to be in a wig and if you want to have 26 inches, then guess what? have 26 inches. If you take your residency, your ERAS picture with the wig on and straight hair, but you actually go to the interview with an afro, embrace your afro. If you want to have braids or locks or whatever it is, I say go for it. To be honest, if a program is not going to accept you with your afro, they probably won't accept you or respect you as you're in their program, period. It's probably a fundamental problem with you being a black female that's offending them, not really your hair. So do not change yourself for residency applications or photos or interviews, and do not change who you are drastically for medical school applications, photos, or classes or rotations or whatever. I say do whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever's most efficient for you. Question makes me the most sad that I get from black women who want to pursue a professional career in the healthcare field is, should I change XYZ for this program? Should I change myself this way to fit into what this residency program is looking for? My answer is a strong no, and I hate getting that question because it breaks my heart, because I never changed who I was and I never changed any part of my appearance. They told me to take out my nose ring, they told me to take out my cartilage piercing, and then I got another piercing, and I didn't take out anything, because if you're not going to accept me the way that I am, then you probably don't deserve to have me, and that's on per. Okay, but a piece of advice that I have for black women, honestly anybody, especially, you know, Black Girl White Coat was created for black and brown future healthcare professionals. My advice for you guys right now, especially in this era, as much as I am not truly a fan of this, I think right now is the time to get involved with social media and national organizations so that you can network. Yes, social media and networking are now in the same sentence, and that kind of bugs me, but it is. Y'all, there are so many program directors, so many APDs, so many people that are going to be reviewing your applications, so many physicians, doctors, nurses, PAs that are Twitter famous, that have made a name for themselves on Twitter and medical Twitter, and they know a lot of med students who are also active and also constantly posting about their publications, constantly posting about their thoughts on big things, their reviews about articles. They're constantly posting about themselves, and honestly in a great way. It's awesome. But if you're kind of late to that train, I have a feeling this is not right. Do I agree with this 100%? No. But I have a feeling that those high quality applicants that are also big on social media, especially Twitter, and who have national organization leadership roles, I have a feeling that they're going to be easier for programs to remember, to recall, and to invite to interviews. This interview season is going to look drastically different. It's going to be tough. Everything's going to be virtual, so your networking has to go virtual too. That's it. That's the advice. Your networking has to go virtual. Just because we don't have in-person things anymore does not mean you can be quiet and rely on the things that you did first and second year. As a black and brown future healthcare professional trying to get into programs, trying to get into jobs, your networking has to go virtual, because interviews are going virtual, because connections are already being made as we speak right now. Med students are already in PD's DMs. Some PDs are responding. Med students are already talking to residents in the residency program, and residents kind of drive the picking of the intern class, at least to some extent. Med student Twitter hashtag is popping. There's some drama and it's very weird, but it's popping. And do I agree with that? Again, not really, but interviews are going virtual. Your networking should also go virtual. So that's my advice. And that's the end of this very long Q&A. 1 month into residency. I didn't quit, but I thought about it. Imposter syndrome is worse in residency than it is in medical school, so beware. But I finally got a paycheck, but I'm still broke. That's the end of this long vlog, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I gotta give a shout out for this beautiful necklace that I got. You see it, it says Sandy or whatever. I gotta give a shout out to my people at Medical Joule. I just wanted to make sure that I said that correctly. Medical Joule, they sent me this beautiful necklace. I love it. I'm a fan. If y'all like it, we can figure out how we can get you guys these necklaces. I think it will make a perfect gift and the perfect accessory for when you're on shift, okay? So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another vlog. More vlogs are coming, and yes, we are going to get down to the nitty-gritty about how to make these applications work for you, okay? Now this next vlog series, the application starter pack, is gonna be geared towards MS4s, fourth year medical students, and IMGs that are applying into residency programs this fall, winter, whatever it is, and going on interviews. I want to make sure that me and you, that we, I'm rooting for everybody black, hashtag Issa Rae. I want to make sure that we survive and thrive and get the jobs and get the residency program assignments that we want. I want everybody to match #1. So let's talk about how exactly to turn your application from mediocre to one that'll stand out, okay? So let's do it. Y'all stay tuned, new vlogs coming through. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.